He's a dirty boy. Watch out. Hi, I'm Austin.
And I'm Patrick, and today we're talking about gay stuff. Woo!
So this is the month of June, also known as Pride Month. So we are going to be going over some really great topics this month about gay things.
Gay things. We love gay things. We should say really quick that we haven't been here for just a little tiny bit. We've been working on some stuff outside of YouTube, which we're really excited about, and we can't tell you, and that sounds like one of those YouTuber-y things. We're like, oh, we can't wait to tell you. But for real, like, we have things that we're working on that we're really excited about.
And legally, I'm not allowed to tell you.
Right, legally bound. He'll be thrown in the clink. So it's been a little while, and we really appreciate that you guys have, like, commented and, like, said, like, where are your videos, bitch?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we miss you or whatever. Because guess what? We miss you, too. It's just been nuts. But we're glad to be back in it. Our energies are recharged, and it's Pride Month, so our power is at its peak. And yeah, we are just ready to go. So anyway, today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to know if you're gay.
For some of you guys, you might already be out, you might already know your sexuality, but then there's a lot of people who watch these videos who don't know yet, or are figuring it out, or trying to figuring it out.
Or maybe just need to re-examine themselves, because I mean, the biggest thing and the biggest message that we're gonna try to relay here is that sexuality is fluid. It's on a spectrum. What does that actually mean? The thing is that sexuality really does kind of exist on this spectrum of like super heterosexual to like super not so heterosexual, and kind of everything in between, and goes off on little side trails and does whatever. The thing is most people fall somewhere on that spectrum, except we all kind of feel like we have to be on one end or the other. So to begin this, we thought it might be best if we shared some of our stories of what it was like when we were in the closet, what our experience like growing up and realizing we were gay.
Yeah.
So Austin, why don't you go ahead and tell all these lovely folks out there
Absolutely.
what it was like.
Hi, I'm Austin, and I'm an alcoholic. No, that's wrong.
Whoa, watch it.
Where to begin? I think for me is I was doing gay things before I realized I was gay. I think it really started around like 11 and 12, 13 maybe.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, prime puberty stages. You get these urges and then you act on them. And I found myself acting out through male images. You know?
That's one way to say gay porn, but fine, all right.
I didn't even know that it was gay or that it was, you know, frowned upon by most of the world or anything like that. I just was doing it and I liked it. At the same time, I considered myself straight and I thought I was gonna marry a woman. You know, these things were pre-programmed to believe. You know, it took me a couple years to be like, okay, oh, I get it. I'm sexually into guys, but like romantically into girls. And then over a span of 6 years or so, that all changed to me being like, oh, I'm just gay. There's nothing else to it.
And you didn't even come out to anyone until when? You were 18?
Yeah, I was 18 when I first came out. So it's like, it's really funny because, you know, a lot of the time, you know, we're on a spectrum of, you know, hetero to gay. And that's where a lot of people end up, is on that spectrum, but through your process, you kind of go through that whole spectrum. Like, you know, I was like, oh, I'm straight, I'm kind of gay, oh, okay, I'm gay. And it took a lot of learning and a lot of time to come across that conclusion, but that's my story.
Well, and for me, it was similar in the beginning. Like, it was probably around 11 or 12. I think probably, like, even maybe a little bit earlier with some parts of it, but like, it started out with just a lot of like, you know, you're figuring out all these new strange feelings in your body, and you're like, oh, wow, I better explore that. And as through exploration, it was kind of finding the things that worked and didn't work. I also had a lot of experiences when I was younger with like friends of mine who were guys, whether that would have been just talking about sexual things and it getting a little bit like, you know, a little bit more than just talking, or whether that be, you know, whatever. There's like, I think a lot of people have those experiences when they're younger and everyone's like, just doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, they just like completely avoid it. But I talk to boys all the time that'll be like, oh yeah, like me and my friends when we were younger, we like kissed each other, or we
I used to do that. Like even before I was like 11, 12, 13, whatever. It was like before that, I was still like a frisky little boy.
Because kids don't think about it. They don't think about it being right or wrong. They just think about whatever is fun or feels good or whatever. They're just kind of leading with it, which is how everyone should be.
Yeah.
But that was the thing for me. So I had a lot of those experiences, and then it also went on to, again, similar, like a lot of internet. All of a sudden you're like, let's Google this. Oh, wow, surprise. It's how I still do it. So anyway, it was all of that experiences leading up until I started meeting other gay people, which once I was in middle school, I had a friend who was bisexual. But then by the time I got to my freshman year of high school, I knew somebody who was actually gay and like, you know, very visible, very openly gay, and had been gay for a long time openly. And it just kind of made me readjust my thinking, because I was in that same place where I was like, no. Even if I kind of like this, I'm gonna marry a woman. Like, there's no question.
We're so pre-programmed, like, you know, through media and through our families and through society. It's like everyone's telling you that you're going to be straight. And that is just not the case for so many people.
Especially because, and I'm sure you went through this too, but I dated girls, and like, and the thing is like, even my first girlfriend, I had feelings for her. Like, I loved her. Like, I look back at that, I don't know where that feeling was, if that was like a genuine love, a romantic love, or if it was just like important to me because it was my first anything, someone giving me that attention or that feeling. But no matter what, I don't discredit it or think, oh no, that didn't count because I'm gay. It was something to me. I felt it. Just because I felt that, though, doesn't mean that I'm not attracted to guys, or even that I'm bisexual, because I know that about myself enough to know that I'm really not. I try to be open-minded, but I've never had that experience other than that. But yeah, I dated a bunch of girls then, all throughout middle school, and then into high school, I dated one more girl, and by the time I was dating her, that's when I knew pretty like clearly that I was like exclusively attracted to men sexually, and that I could start to picture myself as living as a gay person, as much as that scared me. And both of us like went over this more. We both did coming out videos, which like we'll link that down below if you want to watch and learn about how we actually like physically came out and that process. But yeah, leading up to that, I dated girls, all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't until I think I met another gay person and I started to understand what would it be like to live as a gay person in the world, because that scared the hell out of me. So now that we've talked a little bit about our experiences, we can talk just a little bit about like the general things that people go through, and some of like maybe the little signs that maybe you're starting to pick up on that is making you question your sexuality, or maybe question somebody else's sexuality, or whatever.
I think one of the things for me, and I know that it was a little different with you, but like one thing I went through is like I dated like girls from like 6th grade until 11th grade. And the entire time I thought I was straight, but at the end of like each relationship, I got to this point where I was just like, oh, I just feel like we're better off as friends. And it kept happening, and like I never thought anything of it until now I look back and I'm like, oh, I thought we'd be better as friends because I'm gay.
Right.
I turned out to be gay, and I think that's like one of those things that you might be the same way, and you might not know it, or later you'll find out you knew it all along.
Right. Something that I think that's important to say is that like just liking hanging out with girls, or even being more feminine, or all those kinds of things, those aren't really factors on whether someone is gay or not. They can be related. Like for me, I was always more comfortable around girls, and frankly I still am, and I was more feminine a lot as a child. I played with Barbies, the whole bit.
Me too.
Yeah, like the whole thing. It can be something that does it, but it isn't like any kind of determining factor. So it's not like if you see some guy and he only hangs out with girls and he's a little feminine, it really doesn't mean that he's gay. It could mean any kinds of things. It could just mean that he likes women and respects women, or wants to whatever, you know? It is a good point that like if you have dated girls and you felt that there's always something off, or that you just never feel really connected, or you know, whatever, it could be that maybe you are you know, you're thinking about some other types of people.
Boys or girls
or anything in between.
Lesbians.
The truth is there is no like test to tell if you're gay. There's no like one or two ways or factors that make you gay. It's really more about listening to what your body and what your mind and your heart is telling you, because that's the biggest thing that becomes the roadblock. Like, you got to listen to the cues that are being given to you. Like, you had a lot of cues when you were growing up.
Like, I knew early on that I was attracted to guys, and even when I dated girls, it didn't feel right, and like all these, I had these signs that I was just not paying attention to. And I probably could have accepted myself sooner if I had paid attention to all those things.
Aside from the signs that are internal, there's a lot of signs from the outside that also stop us from paying attention to these things. Like, you have family and religion and society and all these things that can give you messages of, no, don't be gay, which kind of makes you avoid the idea of like, oh, no, I'm not gay. Of course not.
Yeah.
You know, even if you actually are genuinely interested in boys, or you're interested in girls, or you're whatever, you need to be able to pay attention to those things that are coming from you and not what's coming from the outside.
And like how we talked about earlier, sexuality is a spectrum, and you know, some of these signs might be pointing to you're gay, but you might not be 100% gay. Like we were saying, there's so many things between hetero and homo. Like there's pansexuals, there's bisexuals, there's so many different types of sexuals.
Right.
And like, I'm not an expert on any of them, but I do know that there's so many, and people fit into their own specific categories, which again, you don't have to fit into any of these categories. Like, these are set up so you can identify with a group of people, but at the same time, you don't have to. You don't have to say, oh, I'm gay. You don't have to say you're bisexual. You don't have to say any of that.
Right.
You just need to be honest with yourself so you can find out where you really are on the spectrum.
The reality is that if you're watching this video and you're questioning your sexuality even a little bit, there's a chance that you might be somewhere on the spectrum. But there's a couple things that you should remember. Number one, you don't have to fit into any one of those little labels. We have a whole alphabet of identities, the LGBTQIA plus all of the letters. You don't have to pick one of those. It doesn't matter right now. It doesn't have to matter ever. But if you ever do feel like you want to identify, you can do that later. Do it when you're more comfortable. Like, I'm very comfortable identifying as gay because I feel comfortable in that way. That's who I, choose to identify as, and what I feel comfortable in that sort of category. I would say you probably feel the same.
And I would say your label can change too.
Yeah.
Because I identified as straight, and then I moved on to bisexual until I realized that I'm just gay.
Right.
And for me, that took 6 years from getting from straight to gay. And maybe your journey's not over yet. Right. So you can label yourself, but just know that it can change.
All you gotta really do is start focusing on those little signals that are coming from inside of you, because if you're starting to question it or think that you might be, all you gotta do is start to try and listen to those things more and remove all of the outside stuff. Remove the idea of, oh, but I want to get married, or oh, my religion doesn't say I can, or my family will be upset. If you take away all of that stuff and you just listen to what's coming from inside of you, you might be able to get a bit of a clearer picture. And if you are a boy that happens to like boys, guess what? There's tons of us out there, and it's really, really important, this is the most important thing, to really realize you are not alone, and whatever you're feeling, everybody that has felt that before has been exactly where you are. We've been there before.
Absolutely.
Other YouTubers, other celebrities, other people all over the world have all felt that same exact way, that confusion and that worry and that feeling like, oh my God, how am I going to, how am I going to live my life? I can't live my life like this. All of that stuff, we've all been there. So you are not the first one, and you don't have to feel that way. All it is listening to yourself, seeing what those feelings are, and if those feelings lead you to a place where you feel like, oh, I think I might actually be attracted to boys only, that's great. Maybe you're attracted to boys and girls. Maybe you're attracted to whatever comes your way. Whatever it is, all good. You still got people out here that love and care about you, because we're all on the same journey.
So thank you guys so much for listening to us ramble on like we do.
We hope that it helped you even just a little tiny bit if you're questioning. And if you are, good. You should be questioning. Everyone should be questioning. Good job. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're gonna be fine.
Be sure to subscribe because we make videos twice a week.
And comment down below if you have any other gay questions or gay videos or gay anything. Gay. We love it. And it's Pride Month, bitches. So comment down below and we will we'll make some of those videos because you know that we're always down to make gay videos. But I mean, this is like the time. So yeah.
Okay. We love you guys.
We love you. You're going to be great.
We love you.
Okay. Love you.
LGBT, straight, or whatever you are. We love you.
Good job. Okay.
Oprah!
Bye.